Hey everybody, Jeff here as usual. I just just literally my jaw dropped to the floor just now um, because I converted what I was doing finally into a class. Okay, not just one, but I had to do two. I realized that I've been doing this the wrong way the whole time as far as the most up to date and everything with C++ and classes, and I'm sure there's even still more optimizations and stuff to do. Okay, so basically what I did to my um, yeah first I'll just tell you what I did here. I got a class of a block. Okay, so each block basically has a position, texture ID X and Y, which goes into the frame buffer and chooses a texture that I generate, and a scale. In this case I just went with the vector 3 scale because eventually I am going to want to scale these X, Y, and Z. So, and I created a constructor. Haven't done this in a long time since I was reading books on classes. So, basically, a constructor has the same name as the class name, and it has parameters that are accepted when you create an instance of that class. So this one just has new position, new text ID X, new text ID Y, new scale, and it just takes those things that are passed in as a parameter and sends it to the internal workings of the class. I view this as a structure. I'm old school C++ before classes came out. Yeah, that's right. Before classes came out. Excuse me. So it's just a built-in function that allows you to populate the value fields in your structure. And that's it to the class block. There's nothing else. Just this. Okay? So now you've got, excuse me, just finished coffee this morning, so obviously phlegm's coming up or whatever body does in the morning. So you got your house here. This is the next class, which actually has a vector of blocks. So the block class here. So instead of just having a vector of all four of these, I have one object in the vector and I have as many of those as I need to create, which is awesome. And then I started moving the data from the actual program into here. So I basically internalized everything for the house. And I realized I should have done blocks, then lines, then walls, then house. Probably block, line, wall, box, then house, but I just jumped right to house and we're doing this. So I moved the vertices in here, and you can't create them as a had to put in a number there for whatever reason. Init VAO, okay, so that's down here. All it is the initialization of the vertex array object, vertex buffer object sends the data in, that vertices data for the cube, basically. And then some global OpenGL state stuff. I just took it. There was two different spots in the main code where this was. I just put it right there all together. Okay. So that's your that's your init VAO function, which goes right down here. So this is the class again of the house, which you've got your vector of blocks. I call them vec blocks, and then I've got your VAO and VBO. Okay, and then the vertices, which is the data. Okay, so that gets initialized. Cleanup I took right out of the code again there, so that's going to be part of the end after the render loop. And then create box, good old function that I was all happy about creating. I just transmuted it right in here. So there's actually nothing different about this actual code except right here when you send in vecblocks pushback, you have to instantiate a type block. So, because I had all this code in here to put in this, and I just had to put block right before the thing, and just that's it. There was all kinds of errors through here and everything, and then I changed the iterator here to be a block iterator, and then these reference the vec blocks functions. And to my shock and dismay, let's see what else. Because here's where you instantiate the house, right? So then you come through here, and then you go the house init VAO. Okay, shaders is a separate class. A frame buffer is a separate class. Okay, here's the house create box. Boom. Then you go right in here. You got this. You go through all this. Here we are, the shader and everything. And I was trying to make this all one, the house .render, but that didn't work in my brain, so I brought it out here. So you still have all this stuff here. This is the render loop, pretty much. This is the render loop inside the render loop that does all the blocks. So because you're referencing the shader and I didn't put the shader into the actual house class, I had to leave everything like this because I didn't want to call one class from another. I am sure that's possible, but I don't want to do that yet because I don't want to sit with that C++ book for another little while until later. God love Herbert Schild, but I'm not going to spend time with it right now. So this is how it's done from inside the main. So everything references the house. Okay. So the block size. Okay. Cube position, scale. Okay. It's the texture ID. Basically exactly what the render loop was before. Okay. And then cleanup comes right here. There's an extra space there. Take that out. Don't need this either. Eventually we'll put that in. We'll get the system thing going, whatever. And to my shock and dismay, it works. Yep, couldn't believe it. Even the missing and the random and all that stuff. And so anyways, thanks for watching. There will be more because I'm just getting started. Now that I have this in a class, I can just I can either use the same functions I have in the class, or I can define more if I want to use a different function and just do whatever I want. So all right, well, thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more. Thanks. All right, can I say that again? All right.